Oh, there we are. Welcome. Welcome to your Spirit of the Soul show. It's Power Coach Alishia. Oh my gosh. I wasn't going to do a session today, but universe makes no mistakes. Gave me a topic to talk about and something that I want to really dive into. And it's something that keeps coming up. So I think that it is really important to share with you some bullshit that we need to quit and some bullshit that we need to not allow from the people in our life, even if they're an acquaintance, right? Even if they're not in your quality worlds, it's important to understand this because I think that this is one of the reasons why when you feel away, you walk away from that conversation feeling worse than you did before, or like things really weren't resolved, but now you understand them a little bit better, but then maybe you're wrong for the way that you felt. Like, shout out in the comments, yes, if you have ever felt away, brought it to someone, they were defensive about it, they explained why they did it, they didn't acknowledge your feelings, which is a disregard of your feelings, but you kind of understood where they were coming from. So you used that information to almost edit the way that you felt. But when you walked away, you felt worse because you felt like you should have understood where they were coming from originally. And so maybe you misunderstood them. And so your feelings weren't valid because you misunderstood them and their intentions. Shout out yes in the comments if that's ever happened to you. And today we're going to talk about why this bullshit happens. I'm going to talk to you about how to stop this shit in its tracks because this is not fair. This is not a fair way of communicating, a fair way of connecting, a fair way of understanding. None of that shit. If you're live with me, I want you to drop hashtag live party in the comments. And if you are on replay, I want you to drop hashtag after party. Whether you are live or on replay, I want you interacting here with me every single step of the way, because the more you interact, the more you retain, the more you walk away with the actual information that you were meant to learn and know from that session. My piggy pie Lula. Hey Lula, come here. Come here. Come say hi to the people. Hi people. Yes, I have an indoor piggy. So if you hear some honking, that's her. She's pissed off. She wants some of my food and I told her she can't have any. So she's just oinking and grunting and losing her mind behind me. And also, look at this haircut. Isn't it so fucking cute? Okay, anyways. So listen. Like I said, drop hashtag live party in the comments if you're live here with me. If you're on replay, drop hashtag after party. I want to jump into this because I've got a lot to say. So listen, you are feeling away, right? I don't know who the fuck's on here. Oh, I hate how StreamYard does this. I want to be able to see your names. I'm going to go see who you are so I can say hi to you. So, okay, you have a feeling, you're feeling away. You go to the person who's caused you to feel this way by their actions, their energy, like whatever the fuck happened, right? You bring it to them, you tell them how you feel. All of a sudden, they respond either in defensiveness or they explain themselves away, is what I like to say. And they don't even take the time to acknowledge your feelings, where you're coming from, what you meant, like what you need, how it impacted you. And then because they took so much time explaining themselves and not taking the time to understand you and where you're coming from, you walk away feeling like, damn, maybe I should have felt that way. Maybe I should have thought about this. Maybe I should have thought about it from that aspect. Maybe what they really meant was this. Maybe I misunderstood them, right? And if you're dealing with that shit, you walk away feeling like, Zara, Julie, Brittany, what's up, ladies? Okay, so you walk away feeling that way. No, and I say fuck that. Because listen, this is something that I always say, and I want you to write it the fuck down. Actually, put it in the chat because I want you to memorize this shit so that you can start using it. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. Put that in the chat. Here's another one. I want you to put this one in the chat. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. I want to see those coming through the chat right now. Now there's another one. All right. And actually, let me put that up on the screen. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. Okay. 1, That's one way of saying it, okay? Here's another way of saying it. Your ignorance does not change the way I feel. Go ahead and put that one in the chat. Your ignorance does not change the way that I feel. Okay? Put that one in the chat too. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. Your ignorance does not change the way that I feel. The next one, your reasons or excuses do not impact the way I feel. That's the next one. Let's get them going in the chat. Your ignorance does not change the way I feel. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. And your reasons or excuses do not impact the way that I feel. Get these, because you got to use them. Okay. Your reasons or excuses do not impact the way that I feel. Please understand that when you bring something to someone, their reasons, their excuses, their anything that they have to say has no bearings on your feelings because you felt the way that you felt based on their words or their actions, regardless of how they meant it. Now, you will use that information to understand them better, but you never use that information to change the way you feel. Because your feelings are feedback mechanisms. It's your feedback loop for what's going on inside of you. So if people can just come along and say whatever the fuck they want to change the way you feel, then did you even feel the way you felt in the first place? Or are you honoring how you felt in the first place? Or do you value how you respected in the first place? Or does how you feel actually fucking matter to you? If I can come behind you and take away the way you feel with my reasons and excuses, how much do you value, honor, and respect yourself? Tell me in the chat. If my reasons or excuses can take away the way you are feeling, remember, there's no validation here. There's no understanding here. You just tell me how you feel, and I come back with the reason why. I come back to explain it away, which is dismissal and disregard of your feelings. So if when I do that, it legitimately takes away those feelings, then did you have them in the first place? If I do that and you allow it to overtake your feelings and you make it more important, do you value, honor, and respect yourself in the first place? Does how you feel actually fucking matter? Or are you just running around making sure how everybody else feels matters while you stuff your shit down? Because God knows if you speak up, there may be some confrontation, there may be some disconnection, there may be some issues. I want to know in the chat right now, do you value, honor, and respect yourself enough to stand in your power of how you feel, regardless of someone else's reasons or excuses? Let's put that in the chat. Do you value, honor, and respect yourself enough to stand in your power of how you feel, regardless of others' reasons or excuses? Yes or no? I don't see any answers in this chat. I'm kicking your fucking ass today because there was a situation that happened where I didn't really say much because for me, I'm not going to put my energy into this, but this is a killer. This is a killer teaching lesson. Do they? So you stand in that power, you express how you feel, and you make sure that the other person understands where you're coming from and how you're feeling, because that's what matters. Of course, that's Julie. Of course, it's Julie saying yes. That makes so much sense. Because every day you're stronger and stronger, Julie. Every day you're standing more and more in your power. Every day you're realizing more and more of your voice. So I fucking love this. Do you value, honor, and respect yourself enough to stand in your power of how you feel, regardless of others' reasons or excuses? Now, the question is, when you do bring this information to the forefront, here's my next question. Okay? No, I'm not in Zoom. Hey, Anna. I am not in Zoom. I'm just on Facebook here. Here's my other question. Do you fight, defend, and stick up for yourself? Or is it just a matter of fact? Okay. So for everybody says yes. I value, honor, and respect myself enough to stand in my power of how I feel, regardless of others' reasons and excuses. So when they are giving their reasons and excuses, how do you stand in that power? Do you stand in that power by fighting, defending, and sticking up for yourself? Or is it just so? Which one is it? Oh, that's because they're inside of the Facebook group, inside of the Soul Healing Sanctuary, Anna. So which is it? Do you fight, defend, and stick up for yourself? Or is it matter of fact? You can type fact or defend. So what I want to know, I want you to dive in here, okay? Fact or defend? Okay. I fight to defend me always. Good answer. Standing up for myself. See, this is where it goes awry, okay? Because listen, everybody is saying defend, defend, standing up for myself, defend. 100% of you that say yes, I value, honor, and respect myself enough to stand in my power of how I feel, regardless of other people's reasons or excuses. But the way that we do that is by fighting like a motherfucker for ourselves, defending ourselves, and sticking up for ourselves. We don't just own it as a power of like, fuck you. You will care about how I feel, or this conversation is over. That is not how that goes, right? It goes from the energy of I'm fighting, I'm proving, here's why, da da da. So today I'm going to teach you we're not fighting, we're not defending, we're not sticking up for ourselves. Because listen to me closely. Actually, put this in the chat. I have nothing to prove or convince others of. I have nothing to prove or convince others of. Put that in the chat. Because when you are fighting, defending, and sticking up for yourself, it's because you're proving and convincing. We don't prove and convince in this world. We stand in our fucking power and they decide what the hell they're going to do. I have nothing to prove or convince others of. Get it in the chat. Okay? Here's why. This is how this works. I say, when you did this, it hurt my feelings. It pissed me off. It frustrates me. Okay? Then the other person comes back, says, oh, I didn't realize that it impacted you that way. Pay attention. Because be careful. They're being calm. They're being nice. They're being generous. So be mindful of pitfalls. Oh, I didn't realize it impacted you that way. This is where, look at this. If you heard that, would you melt a little bit? Yes or no? If that's how somebody responded to you bringing something to the table, how would you feel? Would you be like, oh my God, that's so great? Doesn't that feel great? If they said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it impacted you like that. How would you feel? I didn't realize that it impacted you that way. Pitfall. That's why it's a fucking pitfall. The other one is like, oh, I didn't realize that me, blank, would upset you. I was just trying to, blank. How do you feel when someone does that? Oh, I didn't realize that me not doing what I said I would do would upset you. I don't know what I was just trying to do. We could just leave it at that. Or I didn't realize that me saying that would upset you. I was just trying to explain blah, blah, blah. They're not mad. They're not angry. They're calm. How do you feel? Good? Bad? Upset? What? Let me know. Only one person wrote good about the other one. How do you feel when they're responding this way? Good. We're back to good. Okay, I need you to lean in. Lean in. Are you ready for this? These are fucking bullshit. You want to know what these are? Ignorance. Ignorance is not a reason to not understand. Ignorance is not a reason to not fucking care. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. I didn't realize that is a dismissal, even if there's an apology. The apology is just there because the person is in the habit of apologizing. Your ignorance is not a reason to dismiss how I feel. Your ignorance does not change the way that I feel. So when someone responds with, I didn't realize it impacted you like that. Oh, I didn't realize that me doing blank would upset you. I was just trying to blank. I don't give a fuck. None of that matters at this stage in the conversation. It will matter for when it comes time for me to understand you, but it does not matter right now. Because guess what they didn't do? Does anybody know what this person didn't do? Anna and Julie should have this answer. You guys are in the Soul Shift membership. What didn't they do? Oh, I didn't realize it impacted you that way. Oh, I didn't realize that me doing blah, blah, blah would upset you. I was just trying to blah, blah, blah. What didn't they do? How the fuck does this make you feel good? Because they missed something huge here. Huge. Boom. Who the fuck said that? Julie, acknowledge. Boom. They didn't acknowledge you. They didn't acknowledge what you said. They didn't acknowledge what you brought to the table. Number fucking one, when you bring the hurt, the feelings, the problem to the table, they better fucking acknowledge what you're saying and how you feel. Because what if they don't get it? What if they don't get it? I understand that if I leave my shoes there, that makes you feel like my mom. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you leave your shoes there, it's fucking disrespectful because I have to clean them up or because I trip over them because you don't care to keep the space nice. It's a disrespect. Not about me being your mom. You've got that wrong, right? So they need to acknowledge / validate first. I don't give a fuck what you didn't realize. I don't give a fuck that you didn't mean it. It doesn't matter. The impact has happened. It's already affected me that way. Now let's move to understanding. Because if we can move to understanding, we're never going to get here again. We're never going to be here again. And also, this bullshit of this is how I feel and oh, I didn't realize, get ready because we're going to go into a cycle. Right, wrong, good, bad, agree, disagree. Because that's how relationships work. Ignorance is not a reason to not understand. And in order to understand, you must ask questions. You must ask questions. Another thing, really what set this all off wasn't this. It was ignorance in an unsolicited opinion that came from a place with not enough information for the person to give an opinion. 1, and 2, not opinion that I respect because the person doesn't understand the situation. No questions. There was no validation. There were no more questions to help me understand. It's like, do you want to know what I think? Not really, but I'm sure it's coming. Let's also get clear on that. Do not give opinions about something you don't understand. Ask questions first to understand. Because listen, you and I can be in a stalemate in a conversation of, I don't agree with you. I can not agree with you 100%, but still understand where you're coming from, still validate you and where you're at, and we can still have a connection and walk away. And people are like, oh, that's agree to disagree. Kind of. Because agree to disagree works like this. Okay, it's fine. We'll just agree to disagree, right? Yes? Is that agree to disagree? Shout out yes in the comments if that's how you've operated in agree disagree. This person says what they think, then you say what you think, and then they say what they think, and then you say what you think, and we're back and forth attempting to convince each other of each other's point of view to get each other to come to one side or the other so we can be in agreement. No, that's not the goal. But that is what agree to disagree is. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Fuck this. We're not agreeing. Done. Right? No. We don't need to agree. We need to understand. So, understanding is the only goal in any fucking conversation. However, it's especially the goal in a conversation where, let's say, you bring a hurt to the table and you express this hurt. First of all, you need to be validated, and then you need to be understood. And then none of the rest of it actually matters. I can see how bad this is upsetting you. Maybe they could say, I realize you've asked me to pick up my shoes so many times. Men are stupid. They're not going to say that, but let's say they did. That'd be awesome, right? You're like, whoosh. Okay. Like, I feel a little better now. I'm feeling like how I feel matters. And then they ask. Maybe they don't understand fully. So they say, what about leaving my shoes outside the closet upsets you so much? God, wouldn't that be amazing if you were asked that instead of like, oh my God, you're pissed off about the shoes again? Understand. To me, it's disrespectful because you leave your shit everywhere and it makes everything look cluttery. And I pick up my stuff and I put it away and I clean up after you. And instead of having respect, like, God, she doesn't need to clean up my shit. You just leave it there like, well, if she wants it moved, then she'll move it. Oh, now this is where this would come in. Oh, I didn't realize that me leaving my shoes around like that would impact you like that. I was just being lazy. Now they understand. Now that, oh, I didn't realize is so much different. It's in the right fucking place. When I tell you how I feel and you come back at me with your reasons and excuses you didn't realize and your ignorance, stop right now there. I'm going to lose my fucking shit on you. Because number one, you didn't acknowledge me. You didn't give a fuck about what I just said to you. You didn't give a fuck about your actions or words, how they impacted me. Two, you're barely listening to me because you're a man. Maybe take a second to understand where I'm coming from by asking me quality questions. And then from there, we'll see what happens. Do we need to make commitments and agreements? Or do we just understand each other enough that now we're back together? Because at the end of the day, we don't have to agree on the topic. Nobody has to be right or wrong. I had someone say to me the other day, I don't know where we go from here because I don't know which one of us is correct. I'll stop you right there. It doesn't matter who's correct. That's subjective. That doesn't matter who's correct. What matters is that we fully understand each other and where we're coming from. And that's it. So, do you feel like you have shared everything that you need to share? Do you feel like you've expressed everything that you need to express? Because I've talked a lot. See what I'm saying here? I hate ignorance. I fucking hate ignorance. I hate it because it creates such a disconnect and it creates so much frustration. Oh, I didn't realize. I mean, you would have if you were paying attention. I didn't realize as a cop out for being lazy to show up into the conversation. I didn't realize as you being lazy and a cop out from paying attention to me, my body language, my energy, my eyes, my attitude, the way I hold my mouth, all of it. If you just fucking paid attention, you damn sure would have realized. Right? So never again do you allow, oh, I didn't realize, or any of that bullshit on the front end to be accepted. Teach the people around you to give a fuck about how you feel. And then give a fuck about how they feel. So if you're the one that brought it to the table, they focus on you first until there is an understanding of where you're coming from, how it impacted you, and how you feel, and that you feel validated and seen, heard, and understood. Okay? And then after that, you can say what you acknowledge about their decision. Because we're smart. We don't really need them to fucking tell us, do we? Do we? Do you guys need the people in your life to tell you why they did what they did most of the time? Whether it's a man, it's a friend, it's a kid, for the most part, you already know, right? Like, and from what I get, like, I realize that to you, it's just shoes. Like, it doesn't matter, right? They're just a pair of shoes sitting on the floor, not where they need to go, right? That's all they are to you. Is that correct? And they're like, yeah, I didn't realize that it would upset you that bad. Like I said, it's like, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. It's just that impact. It's like a level of disrespect for me, like being your mommy, which I don't want to be. And I get that. I wouldn't want you to be my mom anyways. And like, I'm going to do better about putting my shoes away. Like, I understand how that impacts you now. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody's understood. Now, that's a beautiful way that it goes there. But most of the time, if you do it like that, it will end like that. It will end in that completeness. Now, if they bring a problem to you, it's your job to understand and acknowledge and have that conversation with them first. And then when they feel seen, heard, and understood, then you can bring up the other side, or they can acknowledge you and where you're coming from if they already know. But then you get that turn. Both sides get the turn. It's just who goes first. The person who brings the issue, is upset and has the impact first and foremost, brings it. But you want to know what men do? You bring an issue, and what do? Well, you blah, 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 blah. Oh no. Oh no. You don't get to have big balls off the back of me bringing something up. That's not how this works. We're going to talk about what I just brought up and my feelings first, because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. And then we can talk about whatever it is that you want to bring up. How does that happen? Yes? Do you guys relate to what I'm saying? Is this connecting? Shout out in the comments if this is connecting with you, right? So that's another big thing that happens. You bring up a hurt and it just happened. They literally just did it. And this could be a friend. This could be a partner. This is how humans operate, right? And so you tell your girlfriend, hey, it really bothers me when da 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 da. Well, you da 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 da. It's like, no. That's not what we're doing here. We're not doing I'm attacking you, you're attacking me. What we're doing here is learning to understand each other better. Okay? And this is a diffuse, because I'll say, oh, we're not doing that. We're not doing this tit for tat where I bring up something and you bring up something and I bring up something and you bring up something. What we're doing here is learning to understand each other better. So I brought up a hurt and a pain or something that bothered me based on your words or your actions. And that's what I want to discuss first, because I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from and how I feel and how it's impacting me. And then from there, we can go into what you brought up. But because I'm the one that brought this to the table first and foremost, we are going to talk about how I feel first. But I promise you, we'll get to you and how you feel. If that person cannot have that fucking conversation with you because they need to fight and battle, there's bigger issues here. There's bigger issues here, right? So the shoe thing is just an example. I know I'm like hot about the shoe thing because you guys probably think, oh my God, a pair of shoes. She's really that pissed. No, that was just a funny example. That's actually not the situation that caused this, but it really brought to the forefront that ignorance is not a reason to understand, meaning ignorance is not a reason to not make the effort to understand the other person. Because what set me off had nothing to do with my partner or anything like that. Like, it was a friend. It's like, you're so ignorant about this topic. You know nothing about it. And you're offering an opinion that pisses me off because you're so ignorant about the topic. Just validate and understand me and let go of your opinions because you don't know any better. You don't know anything. You're thinking with this sort of brain to give me your opinion, and you need to be thinking with this sort of brain to give me your opinion. But in order to think with this sort of brain, you need to do research. You need to understand the topic. You need to understand the ins and outs of it. And that's going to take way too long for this 20-minute conversation. So instead of you giving your fucking opinion, how about you just validate and ask questions to understand and call it good? So be mindful of that too. When someone is talking to you about something that you don't understand, don't give them an opinion about something that you don't understand. Ask questions to understand and validate where they're at and let that stop there. You don't have enough information to give an opinion and you look ignorant as fuck, right? So I'm teaching you this because if you can get into the power and the energy of acknowledging and understanding and then deciding, is there any action that either of you are going to take to move forward to make this better? It will change your fucking relationships. It'll change how you interact with people and how you process their feelings and how you honor and value and respect your own decisions and how you honor and value and respect their decisions. You feel seen, heard, understood. They feel seen, heard, and understood. And we never agreed. We never disagreed Nobody ended up being right. Nobody ended up being wrong. There was no blame because it isn't about that. You took an action that impacted me this way. That's a fucking fact. So this isn't a, you did this. Rah, 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 rah. No, this is a fact. That action that you just took impacted me this way. We need to work through this. And the way we're going to work through this is understanding. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I do want to share a couple of things with you. All right. Number one is my brand new quiz that teaches you what stage of spiritual awakening and soul healing that you're in. It is a free quiz. It's really fucking awesome. Once you figure out what stage you're in, you're going to know where you're at, what to do, what steps to take next, so you can continue healing your soul and transforming your life. If you want the link to this free quiz, just shout out soul in the comments. The other thing that I want to let you know is coming up on March 26th, I have my spring clean, clear, and release retreat that is all about cleaning and clearing all that no longer serves you. When you join this retreat, you have lifetime access. So if you can't join us live, you could be there. I'm pretty sure it's still on the early bird for, 6 p.m. Eastern, about 5 more hours right now. So for those of you guys that are not Soul Shift members, you can get in on this retreat for $33. If you wait, it's going to be $47 tomorrow. And if you wait, it's going to be $333. So you do not want to wait. This is a powerful, powerful soul treat that walks you through getting clear on what your next 90 days is going to be, what you're planting in your life, where you're going, how you're doing it. It is so powerful, what you need to let go of. And we're doing it with the energy of the spring, which makes it that much better. So if you want the link to the spring clean and clear retreat, just shout out clear in the comments. I'll get that for you. You can read through the page, see if it connects to you, and if that is something that you want to do. If you don't know who I am, I'm Power Coach Alishia, soul healer, author, and speaker, and I specialize in helping you go from burnout to recharged in 30 days or less. So when we summarize this session, it's learning to not allow people's ignorance to diminish how you feel. Even if you're wrong, even if there was a misunderstanding, how you feel is how you feel. You have every right to feel that way. You have every right to be seen, heard, and understood. You don't need to be apologized to. You need to be seen, heard, and understood. You don't need empty promises made or promises for the future made. You need to be seen, heard, and understood. And so do they. Because in the instance where they say, oh, I didn't realize, that impacted them negatively. They're upset with themselves that they hurt you. So you understanding where they came from is going to stop hurt on both sides. And maybe I'm just being an asshole, but I can't care about how you feel first when you just did something that impacted the way that I feel. To me, that doesn't make any sense. To me, I brought this to you, so let's talk about how I feel. Please see, hear, and understand me. And then we'll definitely move to you. Now, if you're the one that brings it again, we're going to start with you because you're the one that brought it to me, right? Remember that. Then you can walk away from the situation feeling like fucking A, like that was so good. We connected so well. We got on the same page. We really understand each other here. We're really vibing here. And this feels good. Nobody apologized. We didn't go through cyclic fucking bullshit, right? Nobody walked away with the stronghold of, oh, they're the right one. We agreed with them. We don't walk away losing something when we were already feeling like we were losing, in the energy in a way in the beginning, right? So here's what I want you to do as we wrap up this session. I'd love for you to go right inside the Soul Healing Sanctuary group. And this is where most of you are watching this live. But it's the Soul Healing Sanctuary Facebook group. Do a separate post in the group and share with me what was your number one takeaway from this session. Once a month, starting at the beginning of April, we're going to choose somebody who is active and who's participating and showing up and engaging in the comments to join us for our soul shift. I don't know if it's going to be a whole month of soul shift, a week of soul shift, 2 weeks of soul shift. I don't know what it's going to be, but you're going to be able to join us inside of soul shift for a limited time to get part of that experience and enjoy that experience as a reward for participating in the group and for hanging out here and for showing up and engaging with me. So when you see me live, come in and hang out. If you're on replay, come in and hang out and comment, right? It doesn't matter if you're live or replay, it's still counting up everything. The Facebook group does it all. So I don't even have to go through and find this out. So if you're commenting is what we're going to be looking for. It's going to be based off of your actual commenting, not interactions. Okay. And it's on all posts, but I would love it if you would come live and just, help kick up the algorithms for my live as well. Remember to say yes to yourself more than you say yes to other people. It's always about progress, not perfection. And you must give yourself way more grace than you give everyone else, because the world needs who you were made to be. So show up every single fucking day as the badass you are and slay. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and we'll see you next time. Bye.